The feelings that you have as you deal with your mental health crisis do not trump the rights that I have in reality. Hello, welcome to my channel, Outspoken Samantha. If you are new here, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're returning, welcome back. Thank you so much for the support. On my channel, I like to give my opinion and perspective on things that are happening today, things that I think actually matter to everyday people, especially those of us trying to raise kids in the insanity known as today's society. I do like to talk about current events and politics and pretty much anything else that pops into my brain, and my perspective does tend to be more on the conservative side of things. Please like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and also be sure that you are subscribed. Help me to grow this channel to hopefully reach more people that value logic, reason, and sanity. Also, be sure to find me on Rumble under Outspoken Samantha in the event that YouTube decides I have violated their community standards and chooses to kick me off their platform forever. That being said, let's get into today's topic. I just wanted to point out, I understand that my background is really stark and it's really bare and there's nothing going on back there. I've toyed with ideas on what I want it to look like and how I can make it look just more colorful and welcoming, but honestly, decorating is not my strong suit. I wonder if that means I'm a man. So if you guys have any suggestions on what I can put back there or how I can kind of brighten things up around me, let me know. I am open to the talents and the expertise of everybody else because it's not something that I'm really great at. I've been talking a lot lately about these transgender policies, these self-ID policies that are really imposing on the rights of women, our right to feel safe, our right to feel secure, our right to privacy, and just kind of what that is looking like in real time. And of course, I've been talking a lot about the situation with the 17-year-old girl that was showering at the YMCA and came out of the shower and saw a naked male walking through the bathroom, and that whole situation. If you're curious about what that was about, I will link the videos that I did to cover it, both the situation and the response by the YMCA, and also the fact that this transgender individual did step out into the public view and proudly announce that they were the ones walking naked through the locker room and not afraid to admit that they didn't care if there were women and children in there, which I think is just a really strange place to be in and just really baffling, and just shows where we are as a society. You know, if it used to be that predators used to have to hide in the shadows and, you know, they didn't want to come out into the light and show themselves because they knew how society felt about people that preyed on women and especially children. And now they can just step out and say, I'm the one that was naked. You know, I was the grown adult male that was naked in that locker room, and, you know, a young child saw me or a teenage girl saw me and I don't care. And they're actually praised for this kind of behavior. And it just, I don't know how we got here. I don't know how we got here. But, you know, of course, there are a plethora of these situations to choose from because these policies are becoming more widespread. And of course, with this transgender movement, the adults, the grown adult males that are probably struggling with other things in their lives, that feel that taking on a new identity is going to solve whatever they are struggling with, they also feel entitled to women's spaces, and that their voice matters more than women who are uncomfortable with it. So it's just really unfortunate that this is where we are at, but I thought I would highlight just another one of these people that have stepped out and, you know, just seem to think that because of how they feel, regardless of the reality of their biology and how they are born and the fact that they were born in a male body, that you know, that their rights and their feelings matter more than women and children who feel uncomfortable with sharing these private spaces with them. So let's watch that clip real quick and then we'll respond to it.
Well, this is just lovely. I had a neighbor confront me for using the women's restroom. I lived here for 4.5 years. Everyone should know that I'm a trans woman. I've always been known as Kaelie. I've always used she, her pronoun. I've been having some stomach issues because of Trulicity, and I had to use the bathroom real quick, and they're single-use bathrooms, and it's the only place that I feel safe using the women's bathroom. Well, I got done and got out, and this neighbor was talking to another neighbor and started pointing out the sign. I knew exactly what she was talking about because there's a big old woman sign. And I'm like, is there a problem? She's like, yeah, you're using the woman's restroom. You're a man. And I said, I'm a trans woman. And she's like, no, you're a man. And she kept saying that over and over. And she kept saying, you're not a she, you're a he. You shouldn't be using it. You were born a man. And just over and over. And honestly, I just lost it. It just lost it and just started screaming and I just couldn't handle it. This is my home. This is my safe place. I should be able to use the restroom. The apartment manager knows I'm trans. Everyone knows my name is Kaelie. And then my group of friends, I thought my friends were all starting to yell at me saying I escalated and because she had 2 kids. I didn't even see the kids. They were there and I just lost it. Fight, flight, or freeze, and I fought. You don't know what it's like to be a trans person. And then my one friend started yelling at me, and none of them stood up for them. They blamed me that I was the one that was at fault. When none of them stood up to me when this person kept calling me he, she, he, man, like triggering and awful. Like, I deal with enough on here. Like, my apartment should be a safe place. There's nothing safe for a trans person.
First, they say that their name is Kaelie and that they're transgender and that everybody in their community is totally fine with it and that, everybody knows that they're transgender. And I would argue that the community that this person lives in is probably not okay with it. It's just the fact that going about our day-to-day lives, it's not worth the conflict. It's not worth the hassle. I am just going to go along with it. I'm just going to keep the peace and, I don't want to deal with this person getting in my face or losing their mind as clearly they are prone to do if they are faced with opposition. So I am just going to say whatever I need to say to keep this person out of my face. He then goes on to say that the only place that he feels safe is using the women's bathroom. Well, I hate to break it to you, but I, as a woman, along with many other women, the only place that we feel safe using the bathroom are the areas that are designated for biological women because we know that there aren't any men in those spaces when we are the most vulnerable. And it's interesting that we have this whole movement that's supposedly dedicated to creating policies in the name of inclusion and making people feel accepted and safe. But if that were the case, why would they not create policies that take a biological male who is presenting himself in a different way and make the environment of other biological males more inclusive and safer for that person, as opposed to imposing on the rights of women and children and saying that your privacy and safety and security does not matter and our idea of inclusion and safety is to allow this person into your environment now. It's almost like this movement understands that there are biological, irrefutable differences between men and women. They know the biological men are stronger and that they could potentially pose a greater threat to this person. So they take this person who is going through a very serious mental illness with a biological male's body and put them in with women who are going to be less of a physical threat to them. But now that person has more of that physical dominance. So instead of maintaining a secure space for women, especially at a time when they are more exposed, in a place where they can feel safe in doing whatever it is that they need to do, we have now created 2 spaces where the biological and physical strength and differences of men are more dominant in both of these areas. Bottom line, I am sorry to see that this person is struggling, that they are going through some kind of mental health crisis, and I hope that they get the help that they need and that they do feel accepted in society. I'm also sorry that somebody led them to believe that the answer to their mental health struggle was to completely change their identity, and that if they just said that they were a woman, that the entire world would accept them as such. But on the flip side of things, the feelings that you have as you deal with your mental health crisis do not trump the rights that I have in reality.